Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra Tutorials channel. I'm your host, Larry, the most educational Chupacabra man in the known universe, and probably the unknown universe too. They're really not that different, surprisingly. So, a bunch of people have asked me for my audio presets that I use to edit things when I create videos and all of that stuff, so I figured I would just walk you guys and gals at home through how exactly it is that I edit stuff, both for my gaming channel and for the tutorial channel. And I'm not the biggest audio guy. I'm mostly, like, my involvement has always been, like, I've directed a couple of music videos, I have been involved with a bunch of different music projects, but I was never usually the audio guy, so I've cobbled together some settings and some presets from a number of different sources and individuals, both on forums and Twitter and places like that, that I feel do the job pretty well. Although do keep in mind that these presets are designed for my voice, so you might have to play around with them to get them just the way that you want them. So when I start editing stuff, I gather up all of my footage into Premiere Pro, and currently I'm editing some Medusa's Labyrinth footage for Halloween. And starting out, I want to make the second episode, so let's just name it El Medusa number 2. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to grab the Medusa footage number 2. And the way that I record things with OBS, and OBS is what I'm using right now in order to record things, is I've got it set up to record 3 different audio channels that make it really easy for me to just separate out people's audio, and when I do sort of multiplayer stuff, I use Discord voice chat down here in order to capture other people. So the first one is like the mic/auxiliary input, which is my voice. The second one is the regular desktop audio, which is game sounds. And when I talk to other people, I send sound through yet another headset, which is on a completely different voice channel. And then everyone else's that I'm talking to's audio goes to a regular analog headset so that I can easily separate it out. It's a little bit janky, but it works. And it's on the simpler side. So in this particular piece of video footage, I'm playing alone, checking out the free-to-play game Medusa's Labyrinth, and the third line of audio is not currently in use. So I'm going to disconnect all these different things so I can edit each of the audios separately. So I right-click the whole clip, click unlink, and now each one of these different pieces of audio acts independently of the others. So I'll just delete the one at the bottom, and then I'm going to double-click on each of these little sidebars here to expand the audio so it's easier to take a look at it. Now, basically, the first thing I can tell you is that this audio here is massively blown out. Like, even if I just knock it down by, like, 15 decibels, it is really loud. You see over here in the sidebar, it's super duper loud. It, like, peaks up at, like, negative 18 decibels. And I want that closer down to 30 to 42. Somewhere in this region is where I find background audio is at its most stable, simply because that lets it peak up to maybe a little bit over negative 30, and then it usually hangs at around negative 36, negative 32. I mean, audio shifts a lot, especially in video games, so you just have to hit a happy medium somewhere. So let me undo that change, and I'm actually going to adjust that audio by untoggling this little stopwatch so that the audio stays at one level throughout the whole time in the background audio. Otherwise, if I left the stopwatch on, I could, like, set one audio level there, and I could hit the pen tool, and I could add, like, another audio level, and then this would allow me to, like, dynamically animate and, like, have it adjust over time so that the audio can smoothly transition in and out if I really wanted to control, like, people talking so that the talking is really loud and clear, but the background audio is nice and calm and quiet. And that's something you would do if you had, like, a lot of crazy audio. But what I want to do right now is I already know that I want this to be at negative 26 decibels, because, my god, the people who made this game want to blow up my eardrums. And then we'll be able to edit our just voice audio. Now, I don't edit this inside of Premiere, I actually right-click it and I click on Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. And what this is going to do is it's going to convert it into a WAV file, no matter what kind of file it was before, and then it's going to slap it into Adobe Audition. You can see I've been editing some other clips up here, and let me actually save this one and get it out of my hair. Close all of these. And so now I'm left with this audio, and you'll notice that it's very loud. Like the comfortable listening range that I have found and I have had confirmed by people who do podcasting and stuff is somewhere between -8 and -18 decibels. That's usually the comfortable vocal range. And above that, it's not so fun. So if we zoom in, that's like right here at like 9, and this is like way blown out for that. So what I've done with my preset is I've made a couple of presets. I've got these things called Larry Recompressor, 6N, 50N, 40N, and 30N, and basically that just stands for levels of normalization, which is how I crunch down the audio so it's not too loud before it then gets processed. So if we click on 60N, first it'll normalize everything closer down to -9 decibels, and then it will add my my sort of preset rack of effects, and then it'll slightly adjust the volume down a notch, and then it should be pretty much good to go and ready to put into the video. Basically, all this is doing is it's crunching down the audio, it's stripping out the breathy sounds in between me talking, and if you listen to it right now, it sounds pretty good. So here is like an empty space. I guess this is where I'm supposed to go? And then there's no breathing or weird poppy clicky noises in between the sections of me talking. So let's go ahead and take this apart, and I'll show you guys what's going on here. So basically, the first thing that I do with these pieces of audio is I always normalize them. I don't know if this is technically correct, but basically what this allows me to do is if anything's clipped off, this will kind of lazily and easily just smooth it down in level, and then the rest of the preset will just make it sound natural and smooth it over without having to do any type of what do you call that? Clip fixing that you have. I think I made another tutorial about that somewhere. So I just normalize everything to 60%, which usually does fine for 90% of my editing. If after I run the preset I still hear breathing, I might crunch it down to 50% or 40% before running the preset. So once this has happened, then I add my Larry Compressor 2 preset, and all this is it's a male voice de-esser, and you can find the de-esser underneath effects, and I believe it is right here under amplitude and compression, and then you just select the male voice de-esser. If you or someone else that you're working with has a higher pitched voice, you will probably want to have a female voice de-esser or maybe the de-shear. I'm not 100% sure when you're supposed to use a de-shear, but I find that works when I work with people like my sister for voiceovers for her educational videos. And then that's what's added here. And then here is a parametric equalizer. And what I'm doing here with this one is you go down here under Filter and EQ, Parametric Equalizer, and then I just hit it with a Loudness Maximizer. And this one was a suggestion from Mike Russell over at Music Video Creator or VoiceAudioPerson.com or whatever. And all this is doing is it's giving you a little bit of intonation back to the top and bottom of your voice. And I have a very deep, bassy voice, so you need to do something to give it back some of that nice bass. Because what happens, and do I have it open? I do. Or wait, do I? No, I don't. So what I want to do is I'm going to go under Window, Frequency Analysis, and this frequency analysis window is going to tell me what's going on with my voice as I use it. So let's go to Default Effects Rack so that there's nothing selected. And let me just show you what my voice looks like. Cool, like, underground room is... So you notice that here at the top peak of my voice, this is the higher band frequency. I lose just like a sudden drop-off in the quality of what this Blue Yeti can record, and that's pretty normal for USB microphones, I'm told. is that they clip off either the bottom half or the top chunk of your voice, so you lose a little bit of the deepness and the richness of the voice, so you lose some of that high tempo to your voice. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to put some of that back with the loudness maximizer. After that, I use this dynamics processing to add just a little bit of a noise gate here. That's designed based off of Adobe's preset that comes with Audition. That is just the default noise gate. This sucks out a lot of that background noise for me, so I don't lose too much of my own voice. And then this last piece is the compressor built-in dynamic processing that came from a gentleman on one of the Audacity forums. And I think this is actually the Game Grumps preset that they use to compress the audio on Game Grumps. I've seen a number of people post it, both people claiming it's theirs and people claiming that they made it, so I'm not 100% sure on the source of this, so I actually just named it the Game Grumps compressor, just in case, before making this video. So this one, you can just copy down these little points that you see here, and then this is what runs at the end that compresses down the high notes, brings up the low notes so that you can hear everything at a nice, calm, even level. So if I run this, it will complete the effect and we will be good to go. And that's basically what I do for all of my different audio. And if I was going to edit someone else's audio, I would just run them through the Game Grumps compressor, because that tends to be a little bit gentler. And I've made a slight tweak to it a couple of times, so I sometimes have different versions of that preset when I want to edit other people that have really, like, high-pitched voices versus really low and gruff voices like my own. And that's basically my presets, and here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to create a new multi-track session. This is normally how you... Yes, go ahead and delete that Audition. So this is how you share presets with people. So you go over here, and you'll notice that there's like all these little effects racks where you can edit multiple effects at once. And I can go into here and I can go dynamics processing. Where's my Larry gate? Here it is, Larry gate. And then I will add in my, well, not mine, but what I think is the Game Grump compressor. And then that should basically be all that you need in order to go out and edit your own voice. Because the other stuff in there is an existing preset, but here, let me add them just to be sure. So let's go under de-esser, male voice de-esser. Then let's go under here, filter and EQ, parametric equalizer, loudness maximizer. Now when I save this file, this multi-track session, you guys at home will be able to import it, go to each one of these presets, and then double click on it, and then you can save it with this icon right here. Now, why did I bother to put in these other two presets down here that I used? That's because, I mean, I do know some of you out there don't have a lot of money, and some of you might have had to acquire the Adobe suite through other means, and when you do that, they don't always come with all of the correct presets, or some of them are broken. So I'll just keep you covered, although I don't officially condone piracy of any kinds, unless it's on the high seas. That's just good fun. Unless you live in Africa, and that's just a good way to get shot. So that's basically how I do my audio, and this is saved now, so I can pop back over here, and once it dynamically loads back and forth, you might just need to give it a moment, and just double check that everything's saved over here. Come on, you. There it goes. So it'll reload the audio and show you a new peak file. Sometimes you gotta jiggle the little slider to make everything show up. And now I can go here to the start of my video. I can go back here, flip this over, and then go to the end of it, and then clip the end of it again to make sure there's no dead space at the end of the video. This is already roughly at the audio level that I want it. So I'll just go up here to my branded components. I'll go to the front of the video, slip in my Chupacabra's Lair branded intro. This one doesn't have the graduation cap because it's not the Chupacabra Tutorials logo. And then I can just hit Control M to bring up the rendering presets. And then I've got it set to record at to output 60 FPS at, this is actually too small for that type of preset. We'll bump that up to a higher bit rate of 15 to 20 megabits per second. And then I'll be able to slap it into the rendering queue, which is currently rendering out episodes of the game The Bunker, which is one of those weird, like, pre-made footage games where you're just, like, pointing and clicking and experiencing a pseudo-interactive story. And so that's basically how that works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file out for you guys, and I will put it up onto my Google Drive, and you guys can download it to your heart's content and use it as you please. And then when you want to create your own preset, what you do is you say, start recording a favorite. You run all of these different edits in order, and then you stop recording the favorite, and then as you click it, it'll run back over that favorite every time you want to make, a change. So I can go back to open, hit like 50N for the 50% normalization, and then that will run the preset. And then basically what this allows you to do is allows you to kind of like, what's the word? Not optimize, but automate some of your editing, especially when you do a lot of it, so that you spend more time in the editor itself cleaning things up or adding cool little animations and effects, so that you don't end up wasting a bunch of time trying to constantly fiddle with your audio. Now, I will say I do spend a lot of time, maybe every other month, fiddling with these presets some more, trying to figure out what works better, going through tutorials to learn more about this audio stuff, and it's about constantly trying to improve yourself as a content creator and as just a creative person in general, so that you're always making bigger and better stuff. So this is my current preset. I hope you guys enjoy it and get a lot of use out of it. And until next time, I've been Larry the Chupacabra. Don't forget to like and subscribe and suggest topics for future tutorials, and I'll catch you guys and gals next time. Toodles, everybody, and have a good one.